Good day and welcome. This is The State. On this show, we probe the issues and dig the solutions. We're glad you could make time to join us, and thank you for always choosing The State. So I ask, is it true that there are some people in Ghana who generate waste in their homes and come and dump it into their gutters or in waterways? Is it also true that at our market centers we have heaps of refuse gathered when people still sell around it? Is it also that once upon a time there was town council, there was sama, that sanitation was a key issue? Will Ghana ever become the cleanest city in West Africa? My name is Gabriel, new to Ankrah. Stay for details.
Yes, the solution to all your travel needs is here. Ankrah Lodge and Travel Services offers you the opportunity to travel to the following countries: Canada, United States of America, Turkey, Dubai, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Malta, Germany, and other European countries, where skilled workers such as nurses, paramedics, nannies and caregivers, drivers, plumbers, masons, electricians, carpenters, painters, etc. are needed for urgent employment. Ankrah Lodge and Travel Services can secure your Schengen visas with work permits. Individuals, organizations, churches, schools can contact us for their ticketing and hotel reservation, car rental services, international tour packages, travel consultation, visa assistance, and study abroad packages to all countries. We are located at Mr. Bates bus stop opposite the Calvary Baptist Church at Abaka, Ankrah, or contact us on these numbers: 0544 27 9525 or 0545 622 672 or 0302 237557. Ankrah Lodge and Travel Services, your destination, our pride.
Welcome back. Let us settle for W Briefs. On W Briefs, what we do is simply give you the facts of the matter, the executive summary for the discussion for the day. So the situation, the sanitation situation in Ghana is very poor. Very, very, very poor. Sanitation is very poor, with only 25% having access to basic sanitary services or sanitation services, you can call it. Only 25% have access to basic services of sanitation. About 57% share public sanitary facilities. They could be toilet, bathhouse. They have to share in the open. And 18% still defecate in the open. Open defecation is still a matter of concern. It's sanitation is a serious issue, and poor sanitation conditions pose serious public health risk. So it has its implications on the health of the population. In Ghana, according to the World Health Organization, an annual average of over 8,000, so in the range of 8,653 deaths are caused by water, sanitation, and health-related illnesses. Over 8,000 of the deaths have their root causes to poor sanitary conditions, and it has its effect on the population. That is according to the World Health Organization. So let's look at sanitation. When the measurement is given and the definition, what does it mean? So sanitation refers to the provision of facilities and services for the safe disposal of human waste and other waste materials. So the safe disposal of it is what is considered as sanitation. So proper sanitation is very, very essential for maintaining public health, preventing the spread of diseases, and protecting the environment. So to stop the spread of diseases and protect the environment, it is expedient that we maintain proper sanitation. Key aspects of sanitation. So when we touch on the subject of sanitation, these are the blocks of sanitation. One is waste management, and waste management includes the collection, the transportation, and the final disposal of the waste. On our streets, sometimes you see litters of refuse and sometimes liquid waste having a pungent smell. So the management of this in its entirety is a block of sanitation. Also, toilet facilities. So we talk sanitation, we're also looking at access to clean, safe, and functional toilets. You know, successive government have complained about lack of toilets in certain homes or some homes in the country. So if you have toilet facilities, or if you do not have, it is a matter of concern so far as sanitation is concerned. And then the last block or aspect of sanitation is hygiene practices. Hygiene practices, the washing of our hands, promoting hand washing, and then waste disposal and cleanliness. Back in school, the children are taught to know that cleanliness is next to godliness. So these are the aspects of sanitation. Anytime you hear, you know. The President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, will on Saturday, September 6th, 2025, relaunch the National Sanitation Day program. And this National Sanitation Day program relaunch is a renewed effort to rally all stakeholders to help fight sanitation or curb the filth in the country. Being relaunched. Let's get all stakeholders to come around so that we rid the country of filth. That is what this initiative is about. So the initiative, which is under the Clean Up Ghana agenda. You remember that the NDC government came into power on the ticket or on this on the mandate of resetting Ghana. So the Clean Up Ghana agenda is one of the initiatives, and it seeks to put metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies at the core of implementing sanitation policies. So the focus is going to be on the MMDCs to lead the implementation of policies on sanitation. So the National Sanitation Day, it was first launched in 2014 during John Mahama's first administration, but it was abandoned when the new government took over under Nana Akufo-Addo in 2017. That is how come it is relaunched, because the initiative was already started. Ahead of the relaunch on the 6th of September 2025, the minister responsible for local government, chieftaincy and religious affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, has issued a strong directive to all MMDCs, all municipal, metropolitan and district assemblies, and the directive is directing them to immediately get their loins to take steps to ensure that all public spaces, ceremonial streets and choke drains are cleared. They are made clean, and the directive is even such that all these places by 8 a.m. of every day, cleaning should have been done, coming from the minister responsible. But critics have called this initiative or this strategy a flash in the pan, because they argue that there's the political will to make sure that we rid the country of filth is simply not there. It is simply not there. Why do we still fight filth in the 21st century? So with all set for the reintroduction of the National Sanitation Day on 6th September, we ask, is the initiative the long-awaited antidote, solution, panacea to the sanitation canker in Ghana? We'll interrogate the subject when I return with my guests. Please stay.
Praise God, praise God. Christ in tea, you respond, yeah, addition. I'm excited to announce to you, friends in the Lord, are you seeking for a platform where you can pray? Open baby up a soul bomb pie. Now ninyami edi inkita home. Bibi chiroso. And I'm na the same kum. And you're coming home. Let's go into the prayer room on WTV every Friday 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. to meet seasoned ministers of God that God has raised to impact your life. Remember, John Wesley said, I have too much to do, therefore I spend several hours in prayer, able to do it. That is why we are calling upon you. Meet myself, Reverend Hosea Osei, and the Evangelism Missionary Renewal Directorate as we lead you into the prayer room where we encounter Christ. And I believe your life will never be the same. Call your friends, your loved ones, every Friday 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. where we will encounter Christ. God bless you. See you on our screens on WTV every Friday 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. God bless you.
Lord, we pray that each and every one of us.
Welcome back. This is The State, everybody's favorite current affairs program on Christian television. Today we are looking at the reintroduction of the National Sanitation Day. The National Sanitation Day. And because of the nature of the subject matter, we are empaneled strong men to discuss the subject. With us in the studio is Dr. 𝗟𝗓𝗓 Bruce. Dr. 𝗟𝗓𝗓 Bruce is the Director for Agriculture, Environment and Rural Development of the Methodist Church Ghana. We're also joined via Zoom by Kweku Kwanza. Kweku Kwanza is the head environmental health and management unit of the Ministry for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Gentlemen, welcome to the state.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining us. Kweku, welcome you in particular, since we're having you on the show for the first time.
Thank you very much.
Very well.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. And our viewers are
Great.
ready to take your insights on the subject matter. Let me start with you, Dr. 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘 Bruce, then I come to you, Kweku, on Zoom. The reintroduction of the National Sanitation Day. Is it a welcoming news?
It is a very welcoming news, but do we have the spark to drive it on? My doubt. There are a whole lot of initiatives and then arrangements that has to be done to at least help in tickling the psyche of persons so that they would respect the directives that they will be given. You tell someone, put all your waste in the dustbin, and there's no dustbin in any close proximity. So the person looks left, looks right, and then he swipes this thing into a gutter. So we need to first put arrangements in place so that we can really actively make it a law. Then you are breaking something. But when you say put it in the dustbin and there's no dustbin and the person throws it into the gutter, then we have not helped the policy to succeed.
Very well. So that was your preliminary comment. Kweku, is it welcoming news? And we are joined by the man whose name similar to mine. So most questions that has to go to the assembly sometimes end up on my phone. They're asking me plenty questions that are you not the one? Then I tell them it's the man there. Gilbert Ankrah is the PRO of Ankrah Metropolitan Assembly. Gilly, welcome to the state.
Thank you very much, my brother, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers and listeners.
We are glad you could join us on phone. I wish they could see you so that they see if the resemblance is there as twin brothers, because I end up getting something. You're joining us on phone. Yeah, with time we hope you join us in the studio. So Kweku, I'm asking, the reintroduction of the National Sanitation Day, is it a welcoming news? Just our preliminary comments before we go into the meat of the subject.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers. The ministry is happy to be here to share this particular information to all your viewers and your entire audience. And I feel one of the greatest mission of every Christian denomination is to have positive influence on the society, and exactly that's what you are doing. We are very excited and happy. I bring you greetings from the minister and the senior management of the ministry, busy trying to run around to put all the issues together for the big day tomorrow, God willing. And for us, especially those of us who have lived 2024, where the very first one was introduced, and some of the outcome of about 2 years of introduction of the National Sanitation Day, I think it is a welcome news. And for us, it is an opportunity for us to impact on our environment. Thank you.
Very well, Kweku. Gilbert, so I just asked your colleagues on the panel the reintroduction of the National Sanitation Day. From where you sit, welcome news.
Thank you very much for the opportunity once again. Of course, from the Assembly's point of view, the relaunch or reintroduction of the Sanitation Day, it's a welcoming news. You know, the mayor, since he took over, has put in a lot to ensure that within our cities and the entire metropolis are cleared consistently to prevent heaps being piled up. So for us as a city, this will go a long way to let Ghanaians understand the urgency to come together, because the issues of sanitation, as we all know, is a collective responsibility, and this will let me say rejuvenate the entire system. That we need to do something to be able to move away from the field, and we cannot do it alone. We need to come together, do it collectively, so that we'll be able to deal with the issues of sanitation. So of course, it's a welcome.
Very well, very well. So, gentlemen, let me pick your thoughts. It is just proper and appropriate that if we are looking at reintroduction, we assess what the initial one was, what the original one was, what the previous one was. So, Dr. Niado Bruce, yours, when I get to you, you come in with the church's role and the previous effort that was made. So, I'll start with you, Kweku, then I come to Gilly, then Doctor. 2014 was when the National Sanitation Day was. 10 years on, why are we still bedeviled with dealing with sanitation? What are the challenges of sanitation that we face here? Kweku.
Yeah, as you may recall, back in 2014, exactly in September 2014, the very first National Sanitation Day was launched by the current Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Deborah, who was then the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development. And His Excellency the President was the President then. And we reintroduced it and used that as a tool to sensitize the districts, the general public, the religious bodies, the traditional leaders, to take up the challenge of sanitation. So if you remember, some community leaders picked it up and they were able to have a very good model of the kind of community we want. Just to give you one example, if you know Asin Kushia in Central Region, where the Omanhene himself has championed the issue of sanitation since 2014 when it was introduced, you'll be amazed that when you enter the community, the environment alone, will force you to do the right thing. I think we went far to the extent that the community members themselves became watchdogs over the environment. I remember some of the districts that we visited, a particular wache seller was selling wache by the gutter, and there were some leaves that were on the ground. A young man of around 20 years approached the woman and told her that you cannot put this on the ground because we did the serious cleanup a week before, so you cannot. And that's the kind of things we expect. If you indulge me, I'll just give you what they call operational definition of sanitation. And it was put together by the WHO back in 1993. They said that sanitation is a way of life. It is the quality of living that is expressed in clean home, clean farm, clean church, clean neighborhood. Being a way of life, it must come from within the people. And that's where my emphasis is. It must come from within the people. And these are well-tested operational definition of how we want sanitation to strive in our country. So once we have not gotten to a point where sanitation is built on behavior change, then it means that our work is not done yet. And we need to continually educate people, sensitize people, make all the noise awareness creation, bring all stakeholders together to help us to continually educate people. And just my last point on this, sanitation is built on three things. It's built on infrastructure. So Doctor raised the point of issue of no dustbin. So that's infrastructure bit and logistics. So you need infrastructure to be able to really ensure that sanitation is properly done. Then you need education, sensitization, and that's the angle the ministry is coming from. Then you need people to be able to make a lot of noise around sanitation for people's behavior to change. Because anything that is not built on behavior change, it's not sustainable. And then the third one is enforcement, the law enforcement. And that's one of the bins that we have in Ghana. Every segment of our economy, check in the country, there's a weak enforcement one way or the other. So these are the three main pillars of how sanitation can strive, and we can get up there and sustainably ensure that our cities are clean.
Very well. We will just oppose this to the new strategy, the new approach, whether it can address the situation as you have mentioned as we go on. But Mr. Ankrah, Gili, Accra is the center of Ghana. 10 years on, when the first National Sanitation Day was observed, what is the challenge? Why is Accra not able to rid itself of filth?
Thank you very much once again. First and foremost, let me quickly say that, the waste is generated by us, the people. So population has also contributed to the volumes that we generate. But if you look at the National Sanitation Day issue, the most important thing, as a city and government in power, you realize that some of the challenges was quite clear, and per our findings, you identify some of the issues, including low declining public participation. You also, enforcement was not that consistent. There wasn't that follow-ups to ensure that persons really adhere. Now, if you look at issues of logistics, there were some gaps. Many of the communities, we all know, lack a lot of the tools to do the cleaning and all that. Also, issues of poor publicity and engagement was also key, one of the challenges. And that is why this time around, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama himself, will be launching the sanitation day, the National Sanitation Day tomorrow. And that shows the commitment of government, the willpower of government to ensure that this whole issue of sanitation is dealt with. So you see that the publicity around it is quite massive, quite engaging. Now, issues of the politicization of the entire initiative, that also created some level of a challenge. But this time around, the way forward, if you look at governments prior to coming into being, the manifesto of the NDC, it was quite clear that issues of sanitation will be top notch, and for that matter, a lot will be going into dealing with the issues of sanitation, the reintroduction. So this time around, the way forward is quite massive. We are looking at ensuring that we provide consistent tools, tracks, and personnel to help in the cleaning. Government has also given us that green light. Currently, as I speak to you now, issues of enforcement is something that we are not living. Currently, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly has its own sanitation court now. So the enforcement of the bylaws will be fair. Including if you look at the red line policy that we have issued out to traders. Now, publicity, just as I said, currently, as we know, through the Ministry of Local Government, the Minister, Honorable Ahmed, publicity has been intensified, and all within the entire MMDAs, we have our Information Services Department of the various MMDCs also going out there personally to do the announcements. So currently, as I speak to you, we have our men, the Metro Information Officer of the Assembly, together with the announcer. They are currently out there doing announcements, intensifying publicity, whilst we also do the radio. If you look at, we're also trying to ensure that we integrate this National Sanitation Day into schools and churches programs to build that long-term behavioral change. So the Assembly is looking at moving in to the various schools, various churches, speak to them, so that together we'll be able to do this. Now, issues of monitoring is also very, very important. So we are going to monitor participation and the measures will ensure that we have that form of results that we looking for. The tonnage of waste collected and the areas clean and all that. We'll be doing all those monitoring. So this time around, it wouldn't be business as usual. Yesterday, let me say this briefly. I was in a meeting, getting the mayor of the city of Accra, Honorable Michael 𝗟𝗓𝗘, Guta, the women's wing of Guta, held a meeting. And one of the issues they raised was that most of the time during the sanitation day, you see the shop owners not even coming in, but they have their shops closed and they leave the job to the assembly to do the entire cleaning and all that. Hawkers also not participating. Participation, as I said, was key. And so this time around, we are going to rope everybody in so that together we'll be able to do this sanitation periodically. So that we read the city of Peel.
Very well, very well. And that brings to mind, I think Shai Osudoku too had put up a task force that they have trained to go out there to make sure that the enforcement is well. So yes, maybe the assembly.
Yes, and let me briefly just some information. The assembly, the minister announced that there will be some call lines where people can call and then report. From next week, the assembly would also be launching a WhatsApp line specifically to deal with issues of waste. So as I speak to you now, the rapid response team has been formed. Mayor is the head of that particular team itself. So if you have your mayor of the city running these errands and ensuring that things are done well, then it shows the commitment and the willpower of our political leaders to ensure that these issues of waste is done. So we'll be launching that one or two very soon from next week, and people can inform us by just sending WhatsApp locations of where waste are, and then we'll move in to deal with them. Also, when you find yourself anywhere and then you see people littering, you see people dumping refuse into drains and open spaces and all that, we encourage the public to also report some of these things. They can take it with their phone report, and we'll get those persons arrested and dealt with in accordance with the bylaws.
Gilly, I wanted to move on, but let me just clear this bit about hotlines where you need to call. So I'm on the street, somebody drinks water and drops it in the gutter, then I pick my phone and dial and say what will be done.
For the call lines, there are a lot of the times where there are heaps, not necessarily dealing with issues of littering, but there are instances where you find heaps of refuse uncollected within a lot of the areas, not necessarily the AMA areas, but other areas with respect to our sister assemblies and all that. So this call lines being introduced by the Ministry of Local Government will go a long way. So for instance, there are people and they don't even know where to turn to get these waste collected and all that. So this will go a long way to give back information so that the monitoring and rapid response team from the ministry will deal with it. But at the assembly level, what we will be doing at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly is we will be giving out our WhatsApp line where, for instance, if you see heaps anywhere or rubbish gathered anywhere, you can just take a picture, send the location, and then quickly we get a rapid response team to move into.
Interesting, Mr. Ankrah. So I passed through Tama Station, Madina Zongo Junction, or Kaneshi Market, and I've seen heaps. These heaps have been there for so many times. I snap and send it to AMA or send it to the assembly within which I find it. The response team will come. I will get a feedback. Then there will be a response team. Do I stand there to wait for the action?
Of course not. You don't really have to be there. So far as the issues have been reported to, you can also monitor. And that's what I said. Issues of publicity is key. So we are going to also ensure that all these areas that will be cleared, report from the public, will get those issues out there for the public to also know, for those individuals to know that work has been done on their request.
So you put the hotline number and those things subsequently, I guess?
Yes, so the hotlines for the calls will be launched at the ministry level.
Okay.
But just as I said, for the assembly level, we will be putting
You also have the WhatsApp lines. Very
to
well.
complement those.
Very well, very well. We are in this together. We will help with the advocacy. Let me come to the studio, Dr. 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 Bruce. The fight against sanitation. It was launched, the National Sanitation Day. I want to believe the church played a key role in the advocacy and in all that.
Yes.
Why are we still fighting? Is the church not succeeding?
The church, to a large extent, we have control in our closet and then the close proximities. The church supported that launch vigorously. There were statements from the division, the directorate. There were statements from the presiding bishop, and I think for that month, all our study materials depicted some little about sanitation, and we did something. Let me talk classically about where I worship, Freeman Society. I spoke about this proximity issue. We then had just about 3 dustbins in the place, and I said, let us be more effective by placing more dustbins so that close proximity to dump something in it helps. And we did. I think the congregation, people donated dustbins and others. And we have about 10 dustbins in the chapel yard. And we have no problem with sanitation at all because of the close proximity. Somebody picks it and the person finds this thing. But previously, somebody watched left, right, nothing is coming. You know, when it comes, I'm happy one of the panelists spoke about using the schools and the churches. I'm very, very happy about that. Because you see, when it comes to these issues about behavioral changes and the psychic changes of humans, the church plays a major role in it. We, in our case, for instance, the directives comes from our head, and it trickles down in a day to the remotest part of the country. And if he gives us that information, please, Methodists, let's stand out. And they say, I'm a Methodist, I don't litter. We did car stickers and all those at that time. I'm a Methodist, I don't litter. Our founder says cleanliness is next to godliness. I mean, these are stickers that we did, the Methodist Church did. And we stuck them on our cars, and they sent people read, and you see, these things tickle. So you say, oh, no, hey, I'm a Methodist. No, let me keep my waist. You see, those kind of things. So if they use the churches, we are there. And these are part of our social responsibility. They use us. Funding. You see, the church has limited funds and so much to do for humanity. So if they, instead of channeling all these things to the AMA or the metropolitan authorities, may not be everywhere at the same time. Imagine them now, if you take a square kilometer, the number of AMA offices in it, and then the number of churches within. We have mainline churches. When we talk about the Church of Pentecost, Anglican Church, Methodist Church, Presbyterian Church, Apostolic Church, those are well-established churches, and we have all the bureaucracies already internally being absorbed by the church. So if you put in any funding to directly direct this thing to a policy, we have the personnel and everything already. So every person does not support the bureaucratic system, but it goes into actively work on the persons who would need it and for the purpose for which that funding is made. So fortunately, this church, this golden role that the church can play have been eclipsed. Yes.
We're hoping that the reintroduction it will work. Quickly, let me come to you in a minute. Then in 2 minutes I will just try and then share it among you gentlemen. We'll look at the funding bit that has just come up from all of you, logistics wise, infrastructure wise, because the rubbish had to be carted and gone somewhere. How do we have the infrastructure to manage the waste and all that? And of course, the minister is saying 80% of the district assembly common fund has been earmarked for this reintroduction. So things of funding shouldn't be something that we should be worried about. We'll look at it before we go for a break in a jiffy. But Kweku, in a minute, what is new in this new initiative, reintroduction? What is unique about this second phase of the National Sanitation Day? If you could just touch on it briefly.
Yeah, what is new is the strong political commitment, very strong political commitment. I had my colleague at 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 setting out that for the first time I've heard that rapid response headed by a whole mayor of a city. It's not common, and I think it started from just give me a minute to tell you some historical background where we were and why we have gotten to this point,
just a minute,
where everything is seemed to be in the right direction, on the right path. You should have launched the National Sanitation Day on April 2nd, 2025. But when the president advised us as a ministry that no, we need to put in place the various chief executives, because at that time chief executives were not in the office, and also to be able to ensure that we resource the assemblies to be able to get money to do whatever we ask them to do. So we waited. Now all the 261 chief executives, we just lost one, may his soul rest in peace, are in place now. We have appointed them, and also 80% of the District Assembly Common Fund has been ceded to the assemblies to use in managing their own affairs. And we've done 2 tranches already. That's the first time in a long while in the history of the country where 2 tranches of quarters of District Assembly Common Fund back to back has gone to the district. So it tells you that the assemblies have the leadership and they have the necessary resources to be able to push and ensure that the cities are kept clean. So these are 3 things I've mentioned: high political leadership, and the fact that there's a management structure already in place, and also resources have been ceded to the district. So therefore, there's a new wind blowing around, and I can assure you that the results will be different.
Very well, very well. Viewers, if you are just joining us, this is The State, and today we are looking at the reintroduction of the National Sanitation Day, which will be relaunched by the President of the Republic on Saturday, the 6th of September 2025. And we've had as our guest helping us and giving us insight into the celebration of the day. You just heard 𝗟𝗩𝗘 𝗟𝗩𝗘 is the head Environmental Health and Management Unit, Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Also in the studio with us is the Director for Agric, Environment and Rural Development of the Methodist Church Ghana, Dr. 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 Bruce. On phone also is the Public Relations Officer of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Gilbert Ankrah. And they've given us insight what is unique about tomorrow, and they've said that there's now going to be a hotline that you need to call when you see heaps of refugees somewhere, if you see sanitation not going well, and money has been ceded to the assemblies. This time around, full force attacking sanitation. I will take a quick break, and when I come back, we'll look at the key performance indicators that the assemblies have been given. If you don't fight sanitation, if you don't make sure your assembly is clean, you'll be removed from office. Is it possible? We shall look at it, and also the way forward. Please don't go away. I'll take a quick turn.
Oh yes, the solution to all your travel needs is here. 𝗟𝗩𝗪𝗃 Lodge and Travel Services offers you the opportunity to travel to the following countries: Canada, United States of America, Turkey, Dubai, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Malta, Germany, and other European countries, where skilled workers such as nurses, paramedics, nannies and caregivers, drivers, plumbers, masons, electricians, carpenters, painters, etc. are needed for urgent employment. 𝗟𝗪𝗪 Lodge and Travel Services can secure your Schengen visas with work permits. Individuals, organizations, churches, schools can contact us for their ticketing and hotel reservation, car rental services, international tour packages, travel consultation, visa assistance, and study abroad packages to all countries. We are located at Mr. Bates Bus Stop, opposite the Calvary Baptist Church at Abaka, Ankrah, or contact us on these numbers: 0544 27 9525 or 0545 622 672 or 0302 237557. Alan Cash Lodge and Travel Services, your destination, our pride.
Nyansa, ejian mpenina no, anaye jin mpenina no. Ti baby biara mpenifo ahia na yesua ya dwene no. Ne open nyansa no, oben wa ode agudie kira dwene mu agudie ene kofi enu esa adwene nsemu mu odo nsemporo nsemu a yetie bobra ekoyie frase efifirito ne open nyansa no omenkwankwa enu ase ne mpaniso ayadwene ne beye nhira amano ene ni nchirima yadamu ase
ja impanyini insoya adwene jemre na hweyen memninde ne memninde bia anopa no wotwe wo Wesleyan television so.
Welcome back from the break. This is The State. Today we are looking at the reintroduction of the National Sanitation Day, which will be relaunched by the President tomorrow, 6th of September 2025. We are joined in the discussion by the Public Relations Officer of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Mr. 𝗟𝗓𝗓 Ankrah. Also, Kweku Kwansa, who is with the Ministry for Local Government, the Health Department, or should I say, he is with the Environmental Health. He is the head, actually, of the Environmental Health and Management Unit of the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, and also the Director for Environment and Rural Development of the Methodist Church, giving us insight. We are looking at how best this initiative will work, so that at least we can rid the city of filth, not only Accra, Kumasi, or even extending to the rural areas. And if you are just joining us, you've missed a bit, but the tail end of it, trust me, you definitely get something to go home with from our guests or our panelists. And gentlemen, welcome back from the break. We before we went on break, we were looking at the logistics, the infrastructure, and the fact that 80% of the District Assembly Commons Fund has been released, and Kweku tells us that 2 tranches have already gone out. So it means that, just like the minister said, Ahmed Ibrahim, you have no cause to complain about lack of funds. I will come to let me come to you straight, Gilly, because it's assembly. The money is coming to you directly. Are we sure that the monies will be used for it? Of course, somebody will say, do you expect a no as an answer? But I know you will tell me that yes, these monies have they been given spending lines, that this money should be used for this and that and that and that. Mr. Ankrah. Okay, we seem to we'll work the lines and get Gilbert back.
Hello, I'm on the line.
Yes, Gilly. So I'm asking about the, we mentioned, yes. You heard the question?
Yes, I heard the question.
Okay.
What I wanted to say was that, the issues of funding and DSTM, they are clear-cut budget lines as to what exactly to be you are supposed to use the monies for. So for that one, I can assure you, and as an assembly, over the years, monies being allocated for specific purposes are not diverted, and this time around we are sure it's going to be the same. What is meant for sanitation, in the sanitation or waste collection business within the city of Accra or the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, a lot of the chunk of the funds goes into the fueling of the trucks. You know, we use a lot of trucks for the collection. We use backhoes. We use tractors for the collection. So a lot more of the funding goes into the collection process. As we are aware, within Accra proper, we don't have any dumping site, so we have to move all the way towards the Sawame area to do the dumping. So with respect to the funding, I can assure you that it will not be diverted in any way. But the DSTF allocation for the National Sanitation Day is positive from the Assembly's point of view. Mayor Michael Pakwaloti has said it is quite positive. If you look at the infrastructure, although we know a lot more of the areas that are underdeveloped in with respect to infrastructure, if you look at our dam sites and all that, as a city, we are still doing what we can to be able to let people understand the need to reduce the waste they generate, recycle the waste, and then reuse, so that together our climate action plan, we want to have the waste that we send to the landfill sites by 2030, and that is on cost.
That is very well.
If you look at the logistics, just as I said, as a city, the local government ministry has said quite clear that there are some KPIs, and that these KPIs will be for the MMDCs, and they are mandated to do the cleaning of the various areas by 8 o'clock. The hotlines will also be coming in terms of personnel, in the collaboration with groups like EXPA and other partners, who have also pledged their strong support for the sanitation campaign. So for us, we can quite say that in terms of logistics, funding, and all that, we are
good to go.
Yes, we are good to go, and the Assembly would ensure that we do what we do to clear the waste within the areas. And it's quite clear this time around when you come into the city center, issues of waste sanitation has improved, although we have some pockets of littering around, and that will be taken care of by the sanitation day and the campaigns that we'll be doing to let people understand the need not to be littering and all that. So generally we are focused, and after the launch we'll move in full gears to ensure that we deal with the issues.
Very well, thank you. Gilly, just before you, I'll come to you quickly to find out about the key performance indicators, and come to Dr. Bruce to how we're able to measure, and if it is practicable, and that you will be sacked if you don't keep good sanitation in your assembly. But the feedback I'm getting from viewers and is on the mayor and some of the heads leading this sanitation day campaign. Some viewers have shared their thoughts, and some think that it is actually a systemic failure if the leader leads the fight instead of he's supervising. That why should they lead before action is taken? It should be the other way. The leader is supposed to supervise. A quick bite on that. Gilly, then Kweku, you also.
You know, let me say, I respectfully beg to differ. In as much as there are structures to ensure supervision, the mayor will be supervising and ensuring that things are done right. Of course, moving into lead the charge also demonstrates commitment and the political will to be able to deal with the issue. So with that one, of course, we wouldn't, the mayor wouldn't be there all the time. There are structures. We have a well-structured waste management department to be doing the collection. We have personnel and all that. So mayor leading shows the commitment of government and leadership to be able to deal with this issue.
Very well.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that the systems have failed. Just as I said, issues of sanitation is a fair responsibility. And as a city and as people, residents within the city, we generate the waste. And for that matter, we have that responsibility to be able to deal with it. So if there is some form of failure, then we all take the blame, and that is why you see government this time around coming in with full force to ensure that a lot more of funding is provided, commitment is provided. We have the president himself coming in to launch the entire initiative and all that. So it shows the commitment and the political will of government to deal with the issues.
Quickly, is it possible the KPIs that your minister has given the assemblies and the DCs and the MMDCs, that if you don't meet up, if you don't measure up, you'll be removed from office because you failed to tackle sanitation?
Thank you. Let me say that I can't agree with Gilbert better than the point he made around the leader leading the charge. Seriously, if you have a leader who is committed and is prepared to lead the charge, it's better than a leader who is always sitting in the office for him to be briefed. World over, leaders are always at the forefront of ensuring that various objectives set for the agencies are met. So that's a good one, and I see it as a very good political will. One of the challenges we have in the sanitation sector is the lack of the leadership will. And so if I've got a leader who is doing that I think is fine. So throughout my 30 years or so of service in public service in environmental sanitation sector, and there's one lesson that I've learned, that sanitation is a shared responsibility. Sanitation is a shared responsibility. No one agency, institution, government, the private sector alone, or even the church alone can do it. And I think that's the starting point. Ankrah, AMA and the various sister districts, 5-7 of them put together, generate around 4,500 tons of refuse every day. 4,500 tons of refuse every day. 1,000 kilometers or kilograms of refuse every day. So you can imagine the quantum of waste that is generated by the residents of the city. And therefore, we want everybody to come on board to ensure that we are able to collect, transport, and dispose of this waste properly. And we the two speakers have agreed that we need infrastructure to be able to do this. And just to give you this information, that within Ankrah, we have about 4 or 5 areas where refuse is dumped. And as my colleague from AMA said, at times the distances are too long. People do close to almost 60 kilometers in and out to be able to dispose of just a ton of refuse. So we thought as a ministry, we can support in developing the infrastructure by bringing what you call transfer stations, waste transfer stations, so that the distance will be shorter and people can do more rounds of bringing waste from the houses, from the streets, from the market into the transfer station. So that in the night, when traffic is not too big, then they can transport the waste at a far lower cost in terms of operational cost.
We need to go.
Then let me go straight to the question you asked.
Yes. We need to go. So quickly, I asked.
Yeah, the question you asked.
Yes, I asked that can the citizens.
Yes. So quickly.
Yes.
So
would the MDDC
in the government's manifesto, it's indicated that we're going to use KPIs to assess all MMDCs, and those who fall short will have to answer to the presidency. So it's clear in the manifesto. So subsequently, we've been able to develop some indicators to assess them. This is not the first time. Like I said, in 2014, we did the same, and we came out with a league table of the best performing districts best performing municipalities, and then best performing metropolitan assembly. It's been done before. You only have to tighten up the KPIs and ensure that we give a very good feedback to the president through the Honorable Minister for Local Government Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs to be able to know how those who don't perform executives are performing. Unfortunately, we couldn't get enough time to discuss to detail some of the KPIs we are thinking about. But if I have 1 minute, I can run through some of the KPIs we are thinking about through.
I'm sure it's a developing this, and we'll still be monitoring the sanitation space. We'll get time and then look at the KPIs. We can look at it in its entirety for a whole show, so that the citizens can hold our leadership accountable. In a minute, gentlemen, we are supposed to go, and I'm saving the last for the church, so it's deliberate. Don't worry, Dr. Adobruce will speak on behalf of the church on this sanitation issue. But let me ask, and especially Ankrah in the assembly. If citizens don't join the sanitation campaign, what will happen?
Let me state that this time around, issues of enforcement will be key in whatever we'll be doing. I made mention of the fact that currently the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, we have a sanitation court, which is operational, and for that matter, we would have our public health officers, also known as the Samasama.
Samasama is back?
It has been back.
Okay.
And the introduction of this National Sanitation Day would also see a lot more of their work, since they will be moving out to issue sermons and notices to persons to abate nuisances within their various environments.
So I can be taken to court. I will be tried if I am found guilty.
Of course. So the process is quite simple. First and foremost, they will issue notice of abatement, which will tell you to abate the nuisance there. If they come and the nuisance has not been abated, then they will be forced to issue out some sermons where you would have to appear before the court for some punishment and all that for the nuisance that you have created. So, basically, that is it. Enforcement will be key, and the residents who don't participate, we are going to ensure that the laws will be enforced. Currently, as I speak to you now, the bylaws of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, we are trying to inculcate the issues of waste separation to be mandatory. Together, we can all help.
We will definitely have to continue this conversation after the launch. We definitely have to continue after the launch. Time is up, but the church, what advice do you have quickly as we go?
Yeah, fellow Methodists. Fellow Methodists, let us actively and get involved in the sanitation day, the day launching day, and then keep it up throughout the year. Let's keep ourselves clean. Our founder said cleanliness is next to godliness. So let us hold that, and then we know. Let's take pledge that I'm a Methodist, I will never litter. So we always keep our litter to us, and then we dump it in the right place. A Methodist always dumps his refuse in the dustbin.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much. Our guest, that was Dr. 𝗟𝗓𝗓 Adobruce. He is the director for Environment and Rural Development of the Methodist Church. Thank you, Gilbert. Ankrah, PRO, Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Thank you, Kweku Kwansa, head of the Environmental Management Unit of the Ministry for Local Government. Thank you very much for making time. This conversation continues. My name is Gabriel to Ankrah. Happy weekend.